So my friend and I were talking, and she said something that I thought I would want to share with you, the same conversation that we had. In this country, white men have been the problem. Let's look at the history. In 1787, white men owned slaves. White men designed this country to benefit 21-year-old landowning white men. And then people that weren't white, black people, were only worth 3/5 of a white man. And ever since that time, segregation, Jim Crow, all of it, Black Wall Street, women didn't have rights to vote, didn't have credit. Hell, it wasn't until the 1980s that women could even have no-fault divorce. It took almost 200 years for people that didn't look like me to have the right to vote in the 60s, for our black brothers and sisters. And even now, with Roe versus Wade, we still want to tell women what to do with their bodies. And even right now, what do we see? An immigrant who's been here for 30 years, who's never committed a crime, who has a family, a job, pays their taxes, probably has a retirement, probably even owns a car, maybe even owns a house. I don't know their situation. It's none of my business. But right now, because they're not white, they get shackled up. Their kids get zip tied. They get put on an airplane because they want to look like an alpha male. And they're sent away to an awful place, and they don't deserve it. But if you're white and you're a rapist, if you're a felon, if you're such a pitiful excuse for a human being that you cheat on your wife while she's at home with your two-week-old son and have sex with a porn star, if you have dinner with a white nationalist at your house in Mar-a-Lago, Florida, who talks positively about Adolf Hitler, if you cause an insurrection, if you commit tax fraud, if you steal from cancer charities, if you question the birth of the first black president, if you don't rent the black people, if you put an ad in a paper to unalive the Central Park Five, and you're a white man, you get to be president of the United States. Now, on January 6th, if you're white and you beat police officers, stab them with poles, cut off their fingers, poke them in the eye, crush their vertebrae, you get pardoned even after you're found guilty in a court of law, and you're patriots, and you get to visit the White House. But if you're a black man and you take a knee, you're a son of a bitch and you don't get to play football anymore. If you're a black man like Ahmaud Arbery and you're just jogging down the street, 3 white men, U.S. citizens, not immigrants, I know, shocking, chase him down because he must be a criminal, because how dare a black man run down the street? He must be stealing a TV, right? And then you murder him. That's what this country's always been. And the reason that we're here is because not enough people that look like me have said what needs to be said, and this is it. This has nothing to do with the price of eggs, the price of gas, with tariffs. It has nothing to do with any of that. Zero. This is about one thing: white supremacy. A chunk of this country couldn't stomach a black man sitting behind the Resolute desk instead of picking their cotton. And they lost their shit. So they went back to what they know, to their primordial ooze, their instincts, their alpha male, the Fred Flintstone mentality, and they picked the plantation owner, the most uneducated, immoral, morally bankrupt piece of shit that this country has ever seen. An orange antichrist. He's basically a drag queen. The guy wears makeup, has hair transplants, and wears diapers. Can't even keep his vows to his own wife. That's how pathetic he is. But because he's white, he makes you feel a certain way, doesn't he? That's a big reason why we're here. It's white supremacy. And it's time that more people that look like me say what needs to be said, because that's what this is. So let's be very clear about what MAGA truly is. It has nothing to do about making your life better, lower prices. They don't give 2 shits about any of that. They care about one thing: making America white again. DEI, CRT. They want to teach. They want to put the 10 Commandments in schools. They want to put the Bible in Tennessee schools. Unacceptable. You're triggered by a gay person, right? Because that's outside of the design of God. Well, how about raping a woman? Is that inside the design of God? Cheating on your wife with a porn star? Is that outside? Is that God's design? Having dinner with white nationalists? Is that inside the design of God? Oh, because you don't like gay people because they don't fit into your straight white Christian America. See, that's what it is. And you have to look at it from that lens. Anything or anybody that doesn't fit into that very narrow, racist, bigoted ideology, they don't care. They don't care. And all the president did, the orange convicted felon, is he said, take off your white hoods, MAGA. Put on my red hat. You no longer have to hide your face. Be proud of what you are. Because that's really all they are. It's white supremacy. Now it's just out in the open. And unless we speak out and stop it, this will continue. So I'm going to challenge all of you guys that look like me. And yes, there is going to be a lot of them that are going to get their panties in a twat and be all upset. When you talk to them, what do you see? They're angry. Spit's coming out of their mouth. Their veins are bulging. They're wearing military boots and camo fatigue because they're insecure little bitches. They have the physicality of an adult person, but they have the mentality and the emotional maturity of a sixth grader. That's how they operate. That's all they know is violence and anger and hostility. They view kindness and compassion and empathy as weakness. You know what real men do? Real men don't vote for rapists. You know what real men do? They call out people that voted for a rapist. Because you are. You're a piece of shit. You didn't see rape as a red line. What he did, Jean Carroll, is morally disgusting. It's gross. And Officer Sitnik will never see his family grow up. He will never be at their graduations, anniversaries, birthdays, anything. And you don't give a shit. As long as your white patriarchy is maintained. If more people that look like me would have had these conversations back in the 50s and 60s, the 30s, if we would have sat with Rosa Parks on the bus or sat with our, crossed the bridge with John Lewis, we would have progressed as a society. But you know what we did? We didn't. We sat on our asses and we said, you know what? That's their problem. And that's fundamentally the problem. It is not their problem. It is our problem because they're Americans. They're our friends. They're our neighbors. They're our families. They're not strangers. They're just neighbors that we've never met before. So it's about goddamn time that we stop acting like it's not our problem. Now, I can't change what somebody did before me or my great ancestors. I don't know all the history of my particular family, but I know one thing, that my demographics screwed this up and they built this country to benefit me and me alone. And that needs to stop. And I do believe if enough people that look like me speak out, we can change this country. But I'll tell you this, it doesn't matter which team is in the White House. Red team, blue team, it doesn't freaking matter. Until we address this as a country, we will never progress and be great. And we have never been great for everybody. And if that triggers you, that means you're part of the problem. It's never been great for everybody. Never. Have a good day.